Have you ever dreamed of becoming an astronaut? Floating through space, gazing at Earth from above, living an intergalactic adventure? Yeah, a lot of people grow up with that dream. But what if I told you that living in space is closer to a nightmare than to a fairy tale? The truth is, behind the beauty of the universe, there's a harsh routine filled with sacrifices, discomfort, and challenges no one talks about. Sleeping, difficult, eating, limited, using the bathroom, a high-risk mission. In this video, you're going to see what life in space is really like, the side no one shows. You'll discover that being an astronaut means giving up basic comforts, your freedom, your hygiene, even your emotions. Get ready to rethink everything you imagined about outer space, because space, my friend, can be just as cruel as it is fascinating. And the wildest part? This is just the beginning. As kids, many of us dreamed of being astronauts. The idea of flying through space, floating weightlessly and seeing the wonders of the universe feels magical, like something out of a sci-fi movie. But once you start to look beyond the fantasy, reality hits hard. Life up there is not a vacation, it's a mission. And missions come with rules, discomfort, and extreme adaptation. There's no room for luxury. There's barely room, period. In space, every action is deliberate, every movement calculated. The freedom we take for granted on Earth becomes a memory. Even sleeping requires preparation, and the most basic routines, like brushing your teeth or going to the bathroom, turn into complex operations. Let's start with something simple: hygiene. If you're the type who enjoys long showers and that clean, fresh feeling, space is going to be a rude awakening. Showers as we know them don't exist up there. There's no water pressure, no drain. Water doesn't fall. It floats. It turns into little globs that drift around, potentially messing with sensitive equipment. Because of this, astronauts use wet towels, just enough water to dab the skin, rub, and wipe dry. They use a special no-rinse shampoo and squeeze toothpaste directly into their mouths, but they can spit it out. There are no sinks. Some swallow it. Others spit into a cloth. It's not glamorous, it's not pleasant, it's just necessary. Personal hygiene becomes a tactical process, not a relaxing one. Even brushing your hair or cleaning your face becomes part of the daily checklist. But if you think that's weird, wait until you hear how they use the toilet. Going to the bathroom in space is a mix between science and circus act. With no gravity, nothing falls into a toilet. Instead, it has to be sucked in, literally. Special vacuum systems are in place to make sure waste gets pulled in and doesn't float around the cabin. Imagine missing your aim and having your business drifting in front of you. That's not just gross, it's dangerous. To help them aim, there are cameras inside the toilet connected to a small monitor in front of the astronaut. They use this to align themselves with a hole barely 10 centimeters wide. For urination, there's a funnel connected to a suction tube. For number 2, they strap themselves down tightly so they don't float away mid-process. And yes, everything gets stored, tracked, and eventually launched back toward Earth to burn up in the atmosphere. Eating in space? That's another story entirely. There's no freshly cooked food, no crunchy snacks or juicy steaks. Everything is vacuum-sealed, freeze-dried, or in paste form. Most meals come in pouches that are rehydrated with either hot or cold water. And forget about using a plate and fork. They eat straight from the packet. Crumbs are a major hazard, so everything is designed to prevent floating particles. No soda, no beer, no fizzy drinks. The bubbles from carbonation don't separate properly without gravity. Instead of floating to the top, they mix into the liquid. When you try to burp, the gas can't rise like on Earth. So when you burp in space, you risk a wet, reflux-like mess. Not a great experience. That's why alcoholic beverages are completely banned on missions. Not to mention, getting drunk 400 kilometers above Earth isn't the safest idea. But not all hope is lost for space beer lovers. Scientists in California are developing a beer that could be brewed in microgravity. They aim to produce a less fizzy, more space-friendly version, a sort of extraterrestrial ale. Still, until that becomes a reality, astronauts will have to settle for powdered orange juice and protein shakes. And you thought space was glamorous. And what about emotions? Ever cried in space? You might be surprised to know that crying, something so natural, becomes a weird and uncomfortable experience. Tears don't fall. They form a bubble around your eyes and just stay there. If you keep crying, that bubble gets bigger. It can move across your face, block your vision, and even get into your nose or mouth. So instead of feeling relief from crying, you end up frustrated and itchy. And since tissues are limited, you have to carefully remove those tear bubbles with a cloth. It's one of those things no one prepares you for. The emotional weight of being so far from home, combined with the inability to even cry like a normal human, starts to wear you down. And if even your emotions are altered, what about something as basic as writing? Believe it or not, regular pens don't work in space. Without gravity, the ink doesn't flow. During the space race, Americans invested millions in developing a pressurized pen that could write in zero gravity. The result? The famous space pen, which uses a special ink and pressurized cartridge. The Russians? They brought pencils, cheaper and simpler, but not safer. Pencil shavings and broken graphite float around, potentially damaging equipment or starting fires. Wood is flammable, and floating splinters are a serious hazard. So even something as innocent as writing a note needs advanced engineering. It's a reminder that space doesn't forgive mistakes. Every item, every tool, every action needs to be tested, adjusted, and adapted. And that includes our own biology. What if someone gets pregnant in space? Sounds far-fetched? It's already been tested, not with humans, but with animals. Rats, geckos, and other species have been sent into space to study reproduction. The results were alarming: high mortality rates, deformities, and developmental problems. In simulated microgravity environments, even human embryos showed abnormal changes. In fact, there have been cases where women became pregnant during experiments simulating space conditions. The verdict? Not safe. Without gravity, embryonic development faces serious risks, from muscle deterioration to genetic mutations. Right now, it's strongly advised that women don't attempt pregnancy during space missions. Until we fully understand the impact, reproduction in space remains a biological frontier full of unknowns. And while our bodies struggle, our minds face an even bigger test. Imagine being locked in a metal capsule for months, isolated from your family, seeing the same walls, hearing the same silence. Astronauts go through intense psychological training, but nothing can fully prepare them for the reality of long-term space travel. Anxiety, mood swings, insomnia, they're all part of the deal. There's no sun on your skin, no fresh air, no casual conversation. It's a life of routine, repetition, and responsibility. Some astronauts use virtual reality to simulate nature walks. Others rely on strict schedules and mental exercises to stay focused. But the pressure is real, because one mental slip, one moment of distraction, and lives could be lost. The brain, not the rocket, might be our weakest link in reaching the stars. So the big question remains: will we ever be ready? Ready to truly live in space, not just visit it? Scientists are working on artificial gravity, self-sustaining habitats, and new materials to shield us from radiation. Private companies dream of hotels in orbit and colonies on Mars. But dreaming is easy. Surviving is something else entirely. Because for all the talk of exploration and expansion, one thing becomes clear: Earth is still the only place truly made for us. Maybe one day, with enough time and innovation, space will feel more like home. Until then, it remains a realm of sacrifice, resilience, and endless adaptation. A reminder that some dreams demand far more than just courage. After hearing all this, do you still think you'd like to live in space? Because even though it sounds exciting, it comes at a price. Months without showers, swallowing toothpaste, peeing into a vacuum. It's not exactly five-star living. But maybe that's what makes astronauts so inspiring. The fact that they do all of this for the sake of discovery. So tell me, which part shocked you the most? Could you handle it? Or did this video completely change your mind about space life? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And hey, if this blew your mind, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell. We've got way more bizarre, scientific, and unbelievable content coming your way. In fact, there's another video on your screen right now. Click it and keep diving deeper into this universe of curiosity. See you there.